right.
All right.
I have to add emoji.
The only way.
All right, we are live.
Oh, hey, everybody.
Hello.
Morning.
So we are using a new back-end service called StreamYard that I discovered when I did the Masari event to power this Twitch live stream. And basically, I'm hoping that it will take care of all of the bandwidth issues that we've had, because rather than sort of mixing our video streams on my laptop at home, it is now being mixed by some mysterious computer in the cloud that hopefully has much more bandwidth. So, welcome to the Game of Zones closing ceremonies. We're going to be sort of talking about a quick review of how Game of Zones went. We're going to have some special guests. I'm going to invite Mira and Vasilly up in a little bit to talk about, map of zones and like all of the great visibility tooling that Vasilly built. Which was amazing and made such a big difference to the enjoyment of the competition. We'll be going through all of our winners, and that'll be that. Anything you guys want to say, Jack, Jesse?
This competition has been just fantastic. I think that we had all kind of hoped to see attacks where people double spend, see people find bugs in the software, see people modify the relayer, and see people build and operate custom zones during the competition. And like each of those things just huge in and of themselves. And the fact that we had multiple teams doing each of those is just mind-blowing to me. And really looking forward to recognizing the great effort that folks put in today. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Where's my mint julep, Dean asks. My mint julep cups, I need to polish them. My silver polish is in the cabinet right over there.
Jack, what is on your bow tie? I can't fully see the print.
Oh, it's the Taj Mahal, and there's a snake charmer on there and a leopard.
That's very Jackie Kennedy and Lee Radziwill go to India in 1963 of you.
It has that vibe, yeah. I'll share the bow tie company that I have gotten most of my bow ties from.
Cool. On my end, I'm over here manning or ladying the Twitters. So if I'm a little quiet, it's because I'm responsible for making sure we get lots of gifts for the next hour, half an hour.
Yeah. So what do you think we should do first? I was thinking we could potentially get Mira up on the stream and talk about Map of Zones.
Yeah, I think the first thing we should really do is talk about all of the incredible work that went into building the visualizers that helped teams figure out what was going on and sort of see how everyone else was playing throughout Game of Zones. I remember right before we launched the competition, Mira actually emailed us and was like, how do I get the RPC endpoints? What do I do to get all of this data that I need? And from hearing the first iteration of the plan for Map of Zones all the way through, look at what we got. It was incredible. Really excited to talk to her.
So the way the StreamYard website works is that you click on the link, the invite link, and then I add you to the stream. It works.
Oh, it works. Yay! Hi.
Hi.
Hey, Mira, welcome.
How's it going?
Good. Let me close Twitch.
Yeah. Or mute it.
Yeah. Oh, well, that would work too.
Yeah. How's your apocalypse?
Well, I hope it's not the end. Can't wait for Cosmos Hub to launch again. Right now, it's kind of sad, yeah.
So, why don't you tell us a little bit more about like the process that went into building Map of Zones? Let me see if I can get it up on our on the stream as well. But I'll work on that while you talk.
Sure.
I will also drop it in the chat as well. I'm pretty sure everyone has
I feel
seen
like
Map
if
of
you
Zones.
haven't seen it by now, you might not be paying attention to Game of Zones.
Well, at the beginning in phase 1, we were not relevant because phase 1 was about sending live packages. And we are focused on actual transactions with token transfers. So that once IBC is live, the end user does not care that much about liveness of the channel, but more if I can send transaction or not. But once phase 2 started, we started getting more relevant data to show. And the idea behind this, if I am a token holder and I want to know where I can spend my atoms, can I send it to Jellyfish? Can I send it to Sentinel? Or if I want to do that, do I need to go through the Cosmos Hub or Iris Hub? There is an easy way for them to go and see how he or she can accomplish that transaction. And also, if I'm a zone developer, to see which hub do I connect to, who do I make a relationship with, and so on. So, I think that tool will be useful once IBC is live more, but it was fun to be part of a Game of Zones as well.
I mean, there's a couple of things about Map of Zones that really just resonates for me. One is because I wrote the scoring stuff right for Sagan, it's been many low sleep nights. I'm sure you guys, everybody who played Game of Zones, I think had a lot of a lot of frantic nights. But just dealing with all of the data challenges has been an enormous amount of work. And frankly, a lot of this stuff has been everybody who's worked on this has been finding a lot of bugs in what can be queried easily. How do you analyze and introspect Game of Zones? And that, I think that as one of the value props of the competition is getting bugs sort of figured out from there. But yeah, the other thing that's really cool about this is, this circles and lines between them is the way we define, on the whiteboard when we were working on, Cosmos back in 2016, that was what the mental model of what we were building is we were going to have these zones and they'd all be connected together with different lines and the lines represented IBC channel, and now it's here and live and beautiful and has a beautiful color scheme and it makes it's understandable, and I can imagine a Map of Zones evolving when IBC is live to start showing channels that failed because of Byzantine behavior, zones that we think are scams, all of that stuff. There might be ways of displaying who the validator set of every zone is. All of this stuff can be enormously enriched, and hopefully, I imagine that Map of Zones becomes the ETH scan of the Cosmos is kind of what I'm hoping.
I hope it will be better. But also, ETHScan is closed sourced, and if networks want to be added to ETHScan, it's extremely hard. For us, we would add anybody who works with IBC and who can provide a reliable RPC address.
Yeah, and so I think this will be very easy for everything that's built with the Cosmos SDK. Yeah, I mean the data challenges and discovering RPC points and who's going to maintain RPC points. You're definitely going to have sort of hidden zones that are going to be harder to get insight into. We might see a channel to them from the Cosmos Hub, but maybe no one has an RPC endpoint to that zone. It's going to be it's really fascinating. But honestly, it's just so I'm so proud to see this and so excited by it. And everybody who stakes with the Ztake validator, this is the kind of great work that you're funding. So
yeah, totally.
Thanks, Zaki. And one thing I want to point is that I'd like to help non-technical users understand Cosmos ecosystem more, and that's why MAP is interactive.
Yeah, I've been clicking around it while people have been while we've been talking on the live stream.
Yeah, and just Zaki's kind of talking about these data challenges a little bit, but basically the task that Mira had at the beginning was, here's this brand new system with a ton of endpoints and the data looks like this, make something beautiful out of it. And we saw a ton of teams, I think that the All in Bits team also made an Explorer and some other Explorers, and, each of those used slightly different models. And I think that this one ended up making the most sense for a lot of people. And, for me personally, it's just a gorgeous way to visualize what's going on. And it shows the complexity and scale of this competition and the competence of this community that we were able to, stand up 150 zones and have them all talk to each other. I am just blown away by the response that everyone had, and like Map of Zones really shows it.
Holy shit! Look at these numbers of IBC transfers. Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, so they say 2 weeks of data, and you've got like what, 20? I think something in the neighborhood of like 90 odd million IBC transfers total. I
think the number you're looking for is 11D bajillion, but yeah, totally.
Yeah, and so, when we went into this, we've spent so much time on design and engineering of IBC, but would this whole thing operate at scale? What would happen? Would the blockchains just explode? We've definitely, things have been, rickety here and there, but holy shit, this has been amazing. So, I want to thank you for this. I want to just show our appreciation. I think the community really needs to be aware of this tool and really how critical it's going to be to take Map of Zones to the next level if we're going to have a successful IBC go to market.
Absolutely. And one thing I want to reiterate: if somebody is operating a testnet based on Cosmos SDK and plan to connect via IBC, please send us an RPC so that we can start showing your data right now while you're testing, while we're testing our software as well.
So one of the things that I've been talking to the IBC team about sort of pushing for is final packet stability before we have maybe a 1.0 implementation for the hub. Being able to say, these are the protobufs that describe the entire IBC protocol. And so that if you're a zone and you implement this, you will be compatible with the Cosmos Hub pretty easily when we launch, so that we can actually have, there's no real reason that the IBC network has to wait on the Cosmos Hub to upgrade.
Yeah. And then, one point about Mira's call to action for RPC endpoints. This is kind of an unsolved problem in the Cosmos community. And if there's anyone out there that's looking to hack on something and make a serious contribution that's going to help a ton of people, having a standard way to share seeds, peers, and open RPC endpoints for a network in something that could be deployed by a number of different zones.
Also gas prices.
Yeah, also gas prices. Something that could be deployed by a number of different zones would be extremely, extremely helpful. It would need to be able to accept community contributions for people to put in their seed nodes and things like that. That's just a chunk of work that somebody needs to do, and it will really help projects like Map of Zones and wallets, and it will help decentralize the infrastructure as well, because people looking for open RPC points to transact against will be able to easily find them. So
Alibaba apparently thinks that we need a centralized DNS service.
Well, yeah, I mean, clearly, the only thing that this decentralized network needs is something to centralize it, obviously.
Yep. Awesome. Okay.
Question, actually. Mira, what was your favorite thing that you've seen so far in Game of Zones?
I would say how different zones chose different strategies. Well, some were just there for liveness, but then when there was phase 2, you could see somebody was focused on just spamming the hub. Others were connecting to others, and some networks chose not to accept any incoming transactions. So that was really cool to see.
Awesome.
Awesome. So I'm going to let Mira go and summon Vasilly. Unless you guys want to do, I can do 6.
I feel like we need a summoning circle tweet for this.
Yeah.
Summoning circle, P2P.
I don't think Jessy can tweet that fast.
I can. I just got my computer working again.
It's like
Okay,
magic.
fair enough. Bye, guys.
Good to see you, Mira.
Thank you,
jumping
Mira.
on.
Thank you for everything. Oh man, this is working so much better than
Yeah, StreamYard. Kind of a fan.
Mixing on my laptop.
Yeah.
Looks like we have most of the core crew here. I see Malia in the chat and the P2P folks and a number of other people.
Hi, Malia.
What software are you using, Zaki? Not Stream OBS this time. No, it's a company called StreamYard. I'll go ahead and drop the link here.
Hey, I see Vasilly.
Company called StreamYard. I'll go ahead.
Hey, man.
Hello.
Oh,
Hey.
Vasilly, mute Twitch if you could.
Hey, I see
Okay,
Vasilly.
1 second. Hey,
Hey.
nice to be on stage.
Yeah. So I guess the things that and as we get to like winners and stuff like that, we can talk about like the amazing things that the P2P validator team did in the competition. But like, just like, I really wanted like, I like the point of highlighting you and Mira was really like how much visibility tooling made a huge difference to everyone's enjoyment of the competition. Your like giant SQL database that was like the godhead of like what was going on was amazing. Thank you for QAing like all of my scoring and stuff like that and helping me deal with all of the data. Just like, yeah, Game of Zones would have been terrible without you. So thank you very much.
Thank you. It was very cool to work on that. We actually planned to do this for all the zones we could reach, but when the game started, we understood that we can't support it. We can't maintain it. There is just too much data, too much zones, and we were struggling with keeping just data from the hub alive.
Yeah, too many zones. Yeah, no, I mean, Sagan. I'm pleased with how well Sagan did. Rust is fast, and that definitely made a big difference. It was so much data. Is there a good URL for like showing the like kind of like the data that you generated?
There is a lot of it.
Give me a link. I'll put it up on the screen share.
Can I share the screen here? Yeah.
Yeah, you can share the screen. I should be able to let you do that.
Okay. Okay, I'll share the.
Yep.
Yeah, do you see it?
Here we go.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's the infamous 104 lines of.
Oh my God. your SQL, like in general, your data visualization skills are like way better than mine, but like, holy shit, that SQL. I think my Rust was shorter, but anyway.
I made better queries in the later phases, but for phase 1, I was hacking it up. So. Yeah, we made a lot of those. That's just the dashboards. You can see we made like 20 of them, and the queries also are endless. So yeah, I had to hack a lot, but the one I like the most out of them is the lifelines graph from phase 1 and 2. We made those that shows the clients and connections.
Yep.
So you can see how it that's for us how it works, and suddenly there is a huge lock, and every client disappears, and then we continue to work. That was pretty cool to make.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see that data visualized. I think, Vasilly, you and I were kind of working on that right around the same time during Phase 1A. And I remember the first time I got it up on my screen, I was like, oh, wow, it's exactly what it should look like. Like, really cool to see it out there. Just wild.
Yeah, the difference between the second data and our data is that we were mostly focusing on transactions. So we have a table that has a lot of messages. We were not with all the corresponding data with events corresponding to message and senders and block numbers and so on. Not just messages, but we had all the data about the block composition, and that let us backfill the data when we lost a block or two. We could backfill it, unlike the data stream from event that is very hard to backfill. So we could make it consistent. And
yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I'm kind of, probably, there's sort of like there's two strategies for kind of maintaining a good data connection with a Tendermint Cosmos chain. One of so what we did for Sagan was just like suck in data from all of the WebSockets and aggregate that back. Probably if I'd had, and as we evolve this, another thing that you can do is actually have the block events from Sagan trigger queries at that height. And that'll be easier, especially once we have we make the full switch to protobufs, to sort of then do a bunch of height queries against that block to get richer data. It'll probably also work better under more realistic volumes than Game of Zones, which was really just how far can we push Cosmos and Tendermint? Turns out pretty far, but yeah, we've still got a ways to work on performance and all of these things. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. When we started this, I was like, is Tendermint just going to fall over?
I think one of the more interesting things about the competition was the fact that the proto migration, not only A, we tested the internal state stuff, but B, that it actually made things significantly faster and exposed new bottlenecks in the code that we had not kind of known about before. So that was a really cool outcome of Game of Zones for me.
Awesome. Yeah. Any questions, Jessy?
No, I'm all good over here. Same question as last time. What was your favorite thing about Game of Zones so far?
Well, my favorite thing about Game of Zones is how I fell in love with Redash. That's the first time I've used it.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
I wish I'd known about it before Game of Zones started. We tried to use Datadog for everything, and I'm not. I mean, my Datadog skills could use improvement, but also this the occlusion team in general was looking at Redash and being like, "Holy shit, this is awesome."
Yeah. So now we full time adopting it into all of what we do actually, into all of our processes. And but there was a lot of things I liked about Game of Zones. For one, I just loved hacking on Relay and on custom zones that we did. We worked on a zone that can transfer non-fungibles over ABC. So there is a demo of that too. And we worked on on a deceptive zone that can trap your tokens, and Jack have seen our relay gun hack that can send a lot of packets and milk the faucets and so on. So that was super interesting too.
Cool. All right. I think we should move on to announcing all of our winners. I'm sure people are anxiously awaiting that.
I feel like personally there is one thing I need to really, really shout out. I've been behind Twitter and sort of running around throughout the entire period from registration through now. And there are so many creative, amazing GIFs and fabulous social media moments. I mean, Steakfish blew me away with their little jellyfish coming down over Game of Zones. Malia is basically like, I don't get to have favorites, but Malia, you're totally amazing for the support that you've given us with Game of Zones and how helpful you've been with really helping everyone else like get up and get ready, especially through the troubles that we had trying to get phase 1 off of the ground. So I feel like we have so much to celebrate, especially for the teams who, you know, flew their excitement flag loud and proud, and we're having a huge party online for us the entire time that this has been going on.
Awesome.
Now we can start talking about our winners.
Okay, cool. I'm going to let Vasilly go.
Okay.
All right. You want to guide us through this, Jessy?
Well, I think the first thing we should do is we should probably just remind everyone, you know, who kicked total butt during phase 1, and we should have a little teeny party for that group of people.
Okay, so Kira Asmodet's team sort of won phase 1B, which was the game of chicken with the client expiration dates. That was pretty cool. And we saw some fantastic performances from Sentinel and Persistence and Atomic Bombers that are all sort of getting the Zaki prize. I think I forgot someone.
I gave you a
whole Huh?
I gave you a whole list. Do you have it open?
No, I don't have it open. Where is this list?
It's in the calendar invite. Jack, please give him eyes with me.
I have so many tabs. So many tabs. It's saying I need to request access.
Oh my goodness. I can't. Okay. I can try to give it to you again. Hold on.
Good old Google.
Hey,
it's very secure.
I love this stuff. I mean, as somebody who's had to try to be a super user for years, I always lock myself out of my own documents.
It's the most fun thing about turning all of your security settings to hard mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you should be able to get in now.
Let's see if this works. Yep, here we go. Okay, now we're good. So, Iris, Sentinel.
Whoa!
Huh?
Okay, you're reading the right one. Sorry.
Yeah. Responsible Chain and Atomic Bomber. Thank you for like kicking ass in our misdesigned phase 1A. Yeah, I'm happy to send you guys. I'm looking forward to sending you guys all some atoms. Are we ready to? Is that a good celebration of phase 1, or do you want to have any more comments, guys?
Nothing from my side. Yeah.
I think we're good.
Awesome. So are we ready to announce the phase 2 winner?
Yeah.
As fast as I can type and tweet, yes.
Okay. Congratulations to the Sentinel team for the sheer insane volume of transactions that they sent during phase 2. So the goal of phase 2 was to find out who could sort of get the most transactions through, mostly on the hub, but also on other chains. We saw a lot of interchain activity, but yeah, I don't entirely understand how Sentinel's relayer works so well, but they've really figured out a way of just like optimizing getting transactions through our Sentry nodes. And we had a lot of disruptions, et cetera, also because pruning issues and like all of these Tendermint performance things that we're still trying to really figure out how to push the boundaries on. And Sentinel seems to have really figured out a way of doing a good job of optimizing around it.
Yeah, the Sentinel team has been contributing a lot of code to the ecosystem for a really long time, and I think a lot of folks were kind of surprised to see them at the top, especially in phase 2 with the most packets relayed. But that team has been working on IBC since the beginning, and just a fantastic group of folks. Really excited to see them show up well for this competition. A couple of excellent blog posts from them as well.
Just to clarify, this is phase 2 Sentinel.
Phase 2 Sentinel.
We have a different winner for the
Hey.
Truly.
Yeah.
I'd say another thing that I've noticed with the Sentinel team is, we had our period of the troubles during phase 1A, and they actually had such a deep knowledge of Tendermint and the network and the hub that they were able to maintain a significant point of liveness. I felt like I saw a little bit of them on Twitter going, you guys, we know how this works. And that was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
There's also been, as Jack mentioned, some pretty great blog posts and all around a ton of fantastic information sharing. But that was a really slick move during phase 1. And I'm really, really excited that they killed it during phase 2.
Yeah. So just like, honestly, again, thank you to the team. Thank you just for the incredibly awesome contributions. I think just describing someone as the phase 2 winner is doesn't fully cover everything that they've contributed to Game of Zones, and honestly, none of these prizes could fully capture like all of the amazing contributions to Game of Zones.
I think that was the hardest part about the scoring was we're all sitting here looking at these amazing teams, and it's like, oh, yeah.
And even going through the data, I mean, Zaki, you mentioned a little bit that there were times that we pulled the data 3 times or 4 times to make sure that we were right. And in the cases where we're just looking at the numbers, it's a very clear story from the numbers, but you really, really can't even begin to capture everything else that these teams had to survive and thrive in. I mean, we had some challenges that we didn't even plan that were pretty incredible.
So cool. Ready to move on to the phase 3 winner?
I think the point of phase 3 was all about flexing the security model, and we should probably go ahead and let our winner know what they've got.
Yeah. So our phase 3 winner is p2p.org. One of the things that I liked seeing.
He froze.
I wonder where Zaki went.
Huh?
Oh, there you are. Welcome back.
Your ISP censored you.
Oh, I see. So, I mean, it's better than it censoring all of us.
It's true.
On the old setup.
Definitely way better than that.
The Comcast does not like IBC. So I was just going to say the cool thing is that they did both the deceptive state machine and a double spend. I think we're still trying. We've still been waiting for like an artificial Tendermint like client or like someone figuring out a way of doing it's a lot of work to see like a Tendermint consensus attack, but. They definitely started to, and gave us a great write-up that, we're going to pull all these write-ups together that we got into, went into like a sort of closing document, hopefully sometime today, maybe tomorrow. But it's just going to be, this stuff is going to be invaluable when Game of Zones is running with real money, or, the IBC is running with real money on it, so that all kinds of people are going to have to, learn and educate themselves about, how they can lose money. And phase 3 was all about trying to sort of build up that knowledge base. Honestly, like I was very worried about phase 3 because phase 1 was designed to be simple, fairly simple. and like just show that people, we have this new abstraction, the on-chain light client, show people about that. Phase 2 is basically like, how good are you at using the software, trying to take something that is pre-production in terms of the relayer and really use it at scale. And then phase 3 was really about like, how do you understand the subtleties of what we've been trying to build? And I just was blown away by all of the, like the full set of submissions for phase 3, and it was truly amazing.
Yeah.
In the interim, before we get that wrap-up blog post out, the persistence team has put together a pretty good wrap-up as well that I posted in the chat.
Yeah,
encourage folks
the
to check
persistence
that out.
wrap-up is fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
I mean, Zaki, building a Tendermint light client to do state machine attacks, that would be basically the same level of complexity as building the Tendermint light client, correct?
No, I mean, I think you should be able to just do like have a piece of software that like artificially generates commits based on commit messages based on like a set of inputs and the Tendermint data structure. But yeah, I see why people have had trouble building it. There's a lot of like, in order to make it look realistic, you have to have like a lot of subtle things figured out. So yeah, awesome.
Well, I think the next phase of rewards that we can get into is the competition rewards. Most of these, except for the first, are qualitative. So, we had to fight with each other and sort of argue for the team who we thought did the most fantastic job. But Zaki, do you want to go ahead and kick off announcing most packets sent throughout the competition?
Yeah, so Stakefish to us appears to be the most packets sent, counting all of the multi-message packets individually. The code we are using for scoring phase 2 and phase 3 is open source on the Cosmos Devs GitHub. I'll be open sourcing all of the data as well. Yeah, congratulations to the Stakefish team. Extraordinary contributions to every phase, extraordinary validator just over the course of the Cosmos ecosystem. They just, made some grants to CosmWasm and the chain, how do you pronounce that chain? It's the new team that is working on the built Kepler.
Not Everett?
The former Everett team.
Channel Pi?
Channel Pi. Okay.
Is that how you? I don't know.
I don't know.
I can't help you guys.
Anyways, so yeah, thank you to the Bitfish team. Thank you for being on this journey with Cosmos and staking for us for all this time. All the way back to the civil attack on Game of Stakes. So,
yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Chain abscess.
Chain abscess.
Right. Oh my God.
Thank you all.
Sorry, I've seen like 100 and almost 200 team names and registrations come through. I can't remember anyone's name anymore. I just know if we're supposed to know them.
Yep. All right. Who wants to do the remaining ones?
I can do best custom zone.
Yeah, the next one up is best custom zone. I think it's fair to say we had a little bit of a back and forth over this one.
Yeah, definitely. There were a lot of amazing zones out there, and especially with the amount of work that goes into creating a zone, we talked long and hard about this one because we understand how difficult it is and what a great job everyone did. But we think that the FreeFlix Media Hub team put up something that we were really not expecting. We all really enjoyed working through the demo and thought it was the coolest of the custom zones out there during the competition. So congratulations to the FreeFlix Media Hub team.
Yeah, I think one of the things that was cool about the FreeFlix Media is the kind of numbers of different objects that they kind of are manifesting in their protocol, and that was definitely pretty impressive to me.
I think something that was really, really appealing to me too is they thought about the big picture, and something I didn't expect to see during the competition was, tweets of people linking together their Twitter accounts and, a zone that someone had set up. And we had a lot of that activity, but I feel like I saw 1 million people actually try this out, and even seeing like how well received it was by other teams. It was really a well thought out version of a product.
Well said, Jessy.
I think the next one that we have to announce is Most Creative Zone. And in a little bit of a surprise, we've got a team that has won another category, taking home a best of in the competition. So congratulations to Steakfish. We absolutely loved what you got up to for Most Creative Zone. And I feel like I need more Tamagotchi in my life, well past Game of Zones.
Yeah. One of the sort of dreams of the IBC network is that that the Cosmos cannot be crypto-kittied. So, in the same ecosystem, we can have a high value money moving system like Terra or the Cosmos Hub, where, millions and millions of dollars move every day. And you can also have, a fun environment where people are just exchanging digital creatures and interacting with them. And, it doesn't take capacity away from those money moving systems to do fun stuff like this. And it's like one of the things I think we're most excited about IBC enabling.
Yeah, the fact that you had to get the food from one zone and bring it over to another zone to feed the Tamagotchis, I thought was really, really cool touch.
Cool.
Does that mean the last one that we're on is the Gaia Award?
No, we have one more. We have the Deceptive State Machine.
That's right. How did I forget about the Deceptive State Machine?
Yeah. Again, a long time Cosmos contributor, Iris. They launched the Iris Hub before the Cosmos Hub.
They did.
Huge contributor to IBC. Have been building some very exciting stuff that they've been open sourcing, including their own essential implementation of the relayer, which I think is pretty cool. And I haven't yet had a time to deep dive into exactly what kind of improvements they've made, but always been like a deeply knowledgeable team about Cosmos. And I think their write-up of really a complex, deceptive system that was basically designed to make it look like you have tokens, but those tokens would be irredeemable back on the hub, was like exactly the kind of like subtle attack on IBC that is really good. I think, we wanted to, the reason why we have 2 prizes for sort of focused on the security model, but the phase 3 and the innovative deceptive state machine stuff is because, this is the trade-off with sovereignty. And we're going to really start seeing this in action as IBC becomes a real thing.
Yeah, and just a little bit more color on the Iris relayer. It was based on the original relayer code as well, but they added a few more affordances to send large numbers of transactions, kind of similar to the P2P relayer gun code. And now that the competition's over and we're not competing with each other anymore, pushing some of that code upstream into the relayer, I think, are things that people might be interested in. It's been great to see all the open source contributions to that repository during the competition as well. And thank you guys for just taking that code and running with it.
Also, I can't even track the number of bugs that they have sent to us, not even just through Game of Zones, which was a few, but I feel like basically a huge chunk of the bug bounty budget back in the day went straight to this team. So it's really incredible to see them, get to know our software and contribute the way that they have been contributing this far.
Yeah.
You want to do the Gaia Award, Jessy?
Yeah, so the last award that we have to announce, we basically designed and tweaked with it a bit because we wanted to reward the team that, did an incredible job developing technical content or creating technical write-ups to share their knowledge and to really lay out how their technology worked or how an attack that they developed worked. And in this case, we reviewed a ton of Medium posts. We reviewed a ton of things on GitHub. We looked at so much documentation. But what really got it for me was the write-up that the Agoric team did on their software for the competition. I mean, I have never seen a document that was so beautifully laid out. The diagrams were incredible. It's very clear they spent a long time, writing up what they were doing and footnoting and really making sure that the reader and anyone who wanted to be able to potentially launch an attack with their software or have a deeper understanding would have pretty much any question they could possibly ask answered by that bit of documentation. That's probably one of the best pieces of work that I have seen come out of our ecosystem in pretty much since the beginning.
As everyone has learned from participating in Game of Zones, one of the things that we always have more work to do on in the Cosmos development process is building a better is doing a better job of documenting everything.
Documentation, a hard problem. I don't think anyone likes writing docs, but we did have some folks during this competition, including Agoric, also contribute relayer documentation as well as documentation around the IBC protocol itself. So thank you to everyone who helped improve communication around our core code for the whole community.
Yeah, I mean, the work that we have been trying to put into documentation is one of the most important things we can do to ensure that our software is understood and used by as many people as and teams as possible. I mean, it's just an incredible way to support new users, but also to ensure that what we're building thrives and, we get use cases well beyond anything we could have ever imagined when we started out on this.
Absolutely. Speaking of Malia earlier as well, Malia wrote a really cool guide about build a zone for the Cosmos Hub. Go check it out. I dropped it in the chat as well.
Yeah. So, many of the teams that have been contributing to Game of Zones are run validators. Some of them are, not just our winners. And I really, and we're going to make sure we highlight all of this in the blog post, in sort of our follow-up blog post, but really just remember, when you're making your validation decision, your decisions about who to delegate with, it can be very tempting to just, stake with an exchange or whatnot, but you don't see Binance, contributing to IBC and building Game of Zones. You see folks like Malia and P2P and Sentinel and all of this amazing community of validators who have been building Cosmos for so many years.
Yeah, well said.
Yep, and just a little bit of a housekeeping note. We are going to be working on finalizing the reward allocations and double checking, actually quadruple checking the liveness reward winners list. But everyone should keep an eye out on their email over the next week. We're going to be sending out all kinds of documentation that we're going to need returned for KYC. But once you finish that, we're all good. Everyone will get the rewards. And depending on if everyone completes the process in time, some of the reward amounts might vary a little bit.
Yeah. Awesome. I think we're ready to wind down.
I think so. I mean, I think honestly, like the only thing we have left is to talk about maybe what's next for IBC and what's next for Cosmos.
Cool. So I think a lot of, there's been a little bit of buzz floating around about what we've been calling the Stargate upgrade. And I'm honestly really excited about the Stargate upgrade, which is basically bringing a whole bunch of work that has been done by the Tendermint engineering team over at Interchain Berlin, the Cosmos SDK team, Regen, Bez's Fission Labs, all together into another release. I think we are, the flip side of this is it's going to be a pretty significant change to a lot of different parts of the code in terms of, but Cosmos, a lot of those parts of the code we tested during Game of Zones, and I think people were able to see the results. But it's going to be a process. But I'm very excited about kind of getting all of this stuff out onto the network and live for everyone to use. And so expect more documentation, process, meetings, all of that stuff. The other thing that I'm frankly excited about is, again, when we can make this binary compatibility guarantee, we should be able to start talking about things like having people being able to launch an IBC that they know confidently will be able to connect to the hub when IBC is live on the hub. And that'll allow for an IBC ecosystem to start coming into existence. There's just a lot. So that's another thing I'm pretty excited about. I'm very excited about all of the governance actions that have been happening. I'm excited about COSM WASM. There's just so much innovation happening in the greater Cosmos. I just had a great call with Chorus One about their work on a substrate to IBC bridge, which basically will enable people to build Cosmos zones in substrate. Like, so much exciting stuff is happening.
And as for that Stargate update, we'll be pushing out more communications about that soon. But all of the work that's sort of piled up over the last year, all throughout the ecosystem, everything from the region upgrade module to make these upgrades way easier. I just did an upgrade with Kava this morning, and the process that we came up with totally works, but it requires coordination from a large amount of people all over the world. It's just challenging, and we've seen downtime from upgrades go down by an order of magnitude with the upgrade module that Regen had. It's been tested successfully on a number of test nets, including Akash's most recently, and really looking forward to having that on the hub. State sync, which is another sort of validator quality of life improvement, makes it drastically easier to sync from block 0 on the live network. If you've done it recently, it takes a couple of days. It's a little bit of a pain in the neck. Full-featured light clients, which is a piece of work that we needed to do for IBC. Obviously, you guys have all kind of used that, but that light client work is broadly applicable and really useful in client-side development as well, in ensuring that wallets and other applications have trusted data coming from the nodes that they're working with. A lot of applications there, and that work gets into this next release. IBC, obviously, I think that's kind of that's the one that everyone's most familiar with, and we're seeing live now. And then I think that the one that we're going to have to do the most education on is this protobuf migration, and it changes the way that we encode data both internally and externally. This is going to cause a lot of breaking changes for any users in JavaScript land. That's wallets, exchanges, explorers, things like that. In order to help you folks out, there's a team that's been working on a standardized JavaScript library for Cosmos SDK applications. They published an 0.38 version recently, and they will be publishing a version that supports 0.39. And yeah, protobuf also has a ton of performance upgrades and a bunch of other stuff. Sorry, Zaki, did you have something to say?
I just need to go run and get my charger. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool.
Keep going.
So the protobuf upgrade, touches all those client-facing interfaces, but also is a huge performance benefit. It's going to take the number of transactions that Cosmos SDK-based chains can make and improve that number by around 10 to 100 times. And then also we were talking earlier about how it removes a lot of these internal blockages and reveals previously unknown sort of bottlenecks in performance for Tendermint. Also, as Zaki was mentioning with IBC, standardizing these interfaces allows for much broader compatibility tests to be written and different language integration tests to be written as well. And those are the sort of benefits that non-technical folks kind of their eyes roll over. But the fact is that this really drastically improves usability across a number of different areas as well as performance. And it's a huge boon for the whole ecosystem. It is going to be painful in the short term as we migrate. So that's, we've all been working together very closely for Game of Zones. A number of people are already working on those JavaScript clients. We have folks already working on all of these pieces of this Stargate upgrade, but coming together here in a couple of months to bring that live onto the hub is something I'm really looking forward to. And it's kind of the culmination of the last couple of years of work, starting with the fundraiser and really completing that roadmap. So I know Zaki's very excited about that as well. And everyone that I've talked to in the community is very excited about it too. So really looking forward to seeing all of that amazing work by the dev team live. Yeah, especially after the disorganization of the last year. It's amazing how much work has been shipped. Really, really impressive.
And I'm just so I'm back. My computer will now no longer run out of power. I was at 3%. The thing that I've been really excited about is just how much more active a lot of our community channels are starting to be. It's we've been having great discussions at like the price speculation channel, which has suddenly turned into like a little bit of a governance channel. There's also the governance channel. I know everyone complains about there being too many telegrams and just generally too many channels, but at the end of the day, the Cosmos Hub is where we all where the rubber meets the road. So there's a lot of opportunity for diverse groups of people to start doing the social coordination thing, which is what Cosmos is all about.
Well said. We can go ahead and wrap this up. If anyone has any questions or concerns, please go ahead and drop them in the chat. Reach out to either Zaki or or Jessy, and just, we'll see you around the cosmos. And this doesn't end here by any stretch of the imagination. So thank you again, everyone, for playing.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It was amazing.
I'll also probably be able to be much more available to everyone. I know I've been super distracted with Game of Zones. There's a lot of work that goes into the back end of these things.
Zaki, the goat.
Yeah.
Getting it.
Bye.
Okay. Later, everybody.